Welcome to the January 29, 2026 Parma City School District Board of Education regular meeting. Please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Roll call, please, Mr. Nucio.
Dr. Early.
Present.
Ms. Kerpick.
Present.
Ms. McTaggart. Mrs. Sebastian.
Present.
Mr. Reyes.
Present.
Did you say you text something?
She said. Mr. Nucio, I was asked to let everybody know that Ms. McTaggart's going to be a few minutes late to the board meeting.
Okay, great. Noted.
All right, before we move into the agenda, I want to thank everyone for the time and preparation that goes into reviewing our materials in advance. With that in mind, can we confirm that all members have received and reviewed the materials for tonight's meeting? Roll call, please, Mr. Nucio.
Dr. Early.
Yes.
Ms. Kerpick.
Yes.
Mrs. Sebastian.
Yes.
Mr. Reyes.
Yes.
Dr. Hunt, can you please confirm that the meeting is currently being live streamed?
It is.
Can you please monitoring the live streaming throughout the meeting, and if there's any problems, please speak up so that the technical difficulties can be addressed?
I will.
Thank you. I move to adopt Resolution 2026-01-35, approval of the board meeting agenda.
Second.
We have a motion and a second to adopt Resolution 2026-01-35. Are there any questions or comments from the board? Roll call, please, Mr. Nucio, on Resolution 2026-01-35.
Dr. Early.
Yes.
Mrs. Sebastian.
Yes.
Ms. Kerpick.
Yes.
Mr. Reyes.
Yes.
Resolution 2026-01-35 has been approved. All right, now we will turn the meeting over to Dr. Hunt for information to the board.
Thank you, Dr. Early. Just a few items for you. First, I'd like to thank again our page parents who came to the meeting at our last meeting to voice their concerns about the elimination of the program. Dr. Cruz did provide some follow-up correspondence answering questions that were posed by some parents at the meeting. We are working on coordinating a time to meet with parents in February to answer any additional questions and discuss next steps as we transition students back to their home schools and how we will provide gifted services via classroom clustering, enrichment, and accelerated coursework. So more to come, and I'll be able to report out after that meeting. Just want to talk a little bit about snow days. The last few weeks, and certainly the last week, has been challenging for the schools and for our families. I want to thank our transportation, our maintenance, and custodial staff who worked endlessly here over the last few days to keep our buildings, parking lots, and walkways as clean as we possibly can have them. Specifically today, I want to talk just a little bit so that you're aware that school was in session today, obviously, but this morning, getting a report from transportation around 6:20 that buses were going to be behind and late. So we notified families that some routes could experience delays due to the temperatures, the snow, and driver shortage, and that was a communication we sent out to parents. I want to clarify that the shortage isn't a shortage of bus drivers, but we did have excessive absences that impacted the ability to get routes out on time. The early communication was intended to provide families with advance notice as routes were getting underway. As shared in our previous message, families have the decision to keep their children home if they believe conditions are too cold or unsafe, and absences related to these circumstances will not result in penalty. We will excuse those absences. We're also grateful for the strong partnership that we share with the service teams in each of our cities, Parma, Parma Heights, and Seven Hills, whose coordination and support help us to navigate these challenging winter conditions and prioritizing student safety. And finally, we appreciate the patience of our families and their patience as we try to navigate the conditions in the districts specific to transportation, if families are experiencing issues with stop finder or locating a bus, we ask that they just please report those concerns directly to us at information@parmacityschools.org so we can address those as quickly as possible. And along the same lines, calamity days. So some questions have been asked about calamity days. So we're currently at day 7 on calamity or snow days. This means that we are at the limit for high school students, especially our seniors. It's been suggested that we implement virtual or online learning in the event that we do close school again. Basically, if a school or a district fails to adopt an online day plan after August 1st, any online learning days used would not count toward meeting the minimum requirements. So we did not submit an online day plan. That had to be done in August. So pivoting to online, although we can continue educating students in that way, it does not count for us in terms of the time requirement. Likely we're going to look at what additional time would need to be made up, especially at that level. And so we'll talk about adding additional time or a day or a half day or whatever that looks like. So want to get through the winter here to see where we end up, and then we'll address those pieces in the future. And that's all I have. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Hunt. All right, we will move to the committee reports. We will start with the business committee report presented by Mrs. Sebastian.
Thank you. So we have the business committee meeting minutes, so I'm not going to go through all of those. Those are available on board docs. I do want to point out to the rest of our board that I have highlighted the resolution that we are voting on tonight, and then also you'll see other highlights in there that those are going to be areas of resolution that are going to come before us before the next business committee meeting. So we will be voting on them. So I would look at those before the next meeting because they will come up for resolution. And then I'll talk more about it. Do you want me to just wait until business to talk about the resolution, or do you want me to do it now?
What do you prefer? What do you think will be?
I can do it now.
Okay.
So Resolution 2026-01-38, there was an issue of no heat in mid-December, and the work needed to be done, so it is retroactive. So I think that the work was done in early January, and that was near the cafeteria. If I'm right about that, Mr. Nucio, you can correct me if I'm.
I don't remember the location. Do you remember it, Dr.
I had near the cafeteria, C1 and C2, near the cafeteria.
I'm not exactly sure where the
Okay,
location.
that was in my minutes, so.
But I am aware of there was a problem with heat that went back there in the beginning of January.
Yeah, so that's why the resolution, we had to do that retroactively, obviously could not be without heat. So, thank you. That's all for business.
Thank you, Ms. Sebastian. We will now move to the Finance Committee report to Mr. Reyes.
Thank you, Dr. Early. So there was a lot in this report and a lot of numbers thrown at it. So I'll just go to we're not voting on anything tonight. Is that correct, Sean? That was in the committee meetings?
The Taylor Oswald
Taylor Oswald, that's
is
right.
on there for
Okay.
tonight.
Yeah. Yeah, so basically that's with the insurance company. I think Sean could probably explain it a lot better than I can.
So Taylor Oswald, they help us with our workers' compensation, and they used to be called, I'm drawing a blank right now, but they were bought by Taylor Oswald, and we have the same person working with us. It's just they had a name change, so we have a new contract for $40,000 a year, which is paid out of the Workers' Compensation Fund, which is Fund 027.
Thanks, Sean. Or thanks, Mr. Nucio. And then also there was an updated 5-year forecast, and I believe Sean had the adjustments for the different funds attached as well. Is that all in there?
I do mention the 5-year forecast. I think it's further down in the report.
Yeah, and there's actual, he actually attached the revisions too, if you want to touch on that.
So we had an overpayment of property taxes by the county last year. I always say when property values go up, emergency levy millage goes down. They're inversely related. So we had the reappraisal from the previous year, and so property values went up significantly, but they didn't change the rates. So they ended up paying us $11.7 million too much. So I contacted them and told them I appreciate them sending me all this money, but I know I can't keep it. So we worked out a plan where they reduced the rates over 3 years. So last year, the emergency levy millage was 16.1 mils. They reduced it to 11.94 mils, I believe it was. So they're collecting less on those emergency levies to make up for the overpayments. And that was approved in December by the budget commissions, the rates. So that's going to be reflected in the 5-year forecast. And the 5-year forecast is now due in February instead of November and May. I don't understand that, but that's our legislature. So I will be presenting that at the February 12th meeting.
So I believe there's an attachment with an updated forecast. Could you pull that up on the screen, please? Just so you guys can see what how it affects.
It would be under the finance docs, finance committee docs. It's not part of that document. You have to go back there. No, keep going.
Yeah,
keep
this
going.
one's it.
Keep going. Keep going. There's the 5-year forecast. It's a little small. I'm sure everyone can read it.
Yeah, so I believe Mr. Nuccio had 2 attachments, one with a newer 5-year forecast, and then the other one showed
That's not it.
the document just before there showed the difference with the fund. So just
There you
some
go.
good stuff to take a look at.
That's right. That's the forecast. So there's an overpayment. I think it might be mentioned in there. And then there's House Bill, there's another House Bill that affects our funding, of course. So that's was it 7.2 billion over 3 years, I believe it is.
But that's all I have for the Finance Committee. Thank you.
Mrs. Sebastian, Mr. Reyes, Mr. Nuccio, thank you for collaboration on those reports and for putting those together and sharing those with the board. All right, we are now going to move on to communications. Do any board members have anything they'd like to share in the communications part?
I have a couple things.
Yes,
if you don't
Ms.
mind.
Kirpick.
Thank you. So I had a couple different things I attended in the district today. The first thing was the Force and Motion capstone at Pleasant Valley that I attended with Dr. Cruz. The students there had these just wonderful marble runs that they made, and they were all explaining how they made them, the different changes they had to make to ensure their marble made it all the way to the bottom. And it was just really, really nice to see all the passion and all the work that they put into doing these. So I highly recommend, if you have a student in the STEM program, attending their capstones, because they're great. The other thing was, just by chance, I was at Normandy in their cosmetology program, and they had an Alice safety drill today. And I just have to give them a shout out because I was so impressed with the way that the teachers and the staff handled it. As soon as that drill was announced, the teachers were barricading their doors, instructing their students, and everybody was listening, attentive, and just ready to go. And I was especially impressed because I know we just had 5 days off, the 3 snow days in the weekend, and they were still just ready to go. So that's all I have today. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Kirpick. Do any other board members have anything they would like to share or address in the communications portion of our agenda?
I do.
Yes, Ms. McTaggart.
I have a couple of things, and thank you all for being so patient with me. I've been late the last 2 board meetings, and I missed the reschedule of the last. I don't know, my fellow board members are aware, as well as administration, that I've been serving on active duty military orders for quite some time, and I'm up for a deployment in April, unfortunately. So I have orders to give to Mr. Nucio. I'd like them filed, please. Here is a copy of my official orders. I have also spoke with David Rose in the past, and I'd like to revisit that conversation with him in regards to participation in the committees that I belong to. I'd still like to be a part of the board. I know that I cannot vote remotely unless the board votes and allows me the opportunity to vote away, or remote, I should say, but I would like to continue to participate in the committees. So with that, again, I apologize for being late. I take what I do very seriously, and I'm very passionate about serving our communities. I'm commuting back and forth between 1.5 hours and 2 hours, there and back. So again, I appreciate the patience. I also wanted to take a moment, because I was not present for the last board meeting. It was a reschedule. I was in San Diego on military orders, unfortunately, so couldn't attend. But I wanted to just talk about equal access to information. And I think that it is very important that if any board member is going to be absent, I always like to share. I think that it's really important that we all share with one another. I don't think that it benefits the board at all if one board member is going to be absent and shares with administration and not other board members. I know the last meeting, there was a conversation with board members after the meeting had ended, and there was some communication regarding a board member's absence at the next board meeting. And so I think that for transparency purposes, it's important that we all share with one another when we're going to be absent, when we're expected to be absent. But also, I would, again, in my absence, I would ask that it's noted at every meeting where I'm at, because it is important to my constituents that they know where I am. I also wanted to say something in regards to the PAGE program being dismantled. It's very unfortunate. I was unaware. I know that parents had some questions and concerns, and it was disheartening to watch the meeting from San Diego and not hear some of those seemingly very simple questions. What was taken into consideration when a program like that was dismantled and decided not to be brought back next year? It was also stated that the administration does not need board approval in order to cancel a program like that, and that's inaccurate. So anytime that, and it doesn't matter how it was approved, if it didn't go through board approval, when it belongs to the budget, it is up to the board members to cancel a program. And we should all be aware of that. So I think that we should all take that into consideration and look into it. I had no knowledge that this program was being canceled. And so when we talked about the income tax levy and cost savings plans or cuts, and again, I want to make this very clear, this isn't to offend anyone. This isn't to offend anyone in administration at all, okay? But I take what I do very seriously, and I think that the money should stay in the classroom. Discontinuing a program that's here for the children of our district without conversation, without consideration, and without preparedness to answer the questions, knowing that this program would have an impact and effect on students and their families, is truly disheartening. And I'm so sorry that I wasn't here for that meeting to be able to offer something to the families of those students that attend that program. I think that I would like it to be revisited because, again, it is not up to administration to cut a program without board approval. Once that's budgeted and we approve budgets, we approve 5-year forecasts, things like that, it's approved by the board. So it also needs to be approved by the board when a program like that is cut. So hopefully we can all look into our roles, understand them clearly, and revisit that and understand the impact and the effect on families. And I'm sorry, I'm speaking, so I'm sorry if you don't like what I have to say
Nobody
or
stopped you.
hear. No, I stopped me, but it was also the banging of the pens and the shaking of heads.
I turned my microphone on.
And
I just want to apologize again to the families that didn't get their questions answered. We, as board members, are accountable to the public. We're not accountable to administration. We're accountable to you. We're accountable to the taxpayers. Your money and us asking for more matters. That program and those children matter. That's all I have for now. Thank you.
Dr. Early.
Mrs. Sebastian.
Ms. Mattagger, can you clarify the conversations that you were referring to after the board meeting?
The conversations, I'm not going to clarify the conversations because the person that shared this with me told me in confidence, okay? So, however, there were 3 board members that stayed after, had conversations with Mr. Nucio, and where it was stated there was a reason that we had to vote on something at a work session rather than a regularly scheduled board meeting, and it was because a board member was going to be absent from a board meeting. So, for transparency purposes, I think that it is important that we share with one another when we're going to be absent. So, emergencies happen, of course, but I let everyone know when I'm going to be absent. I try to plan all of my responsibilities around the meetings that I'm here, but it is important that if one board member is going to be absent, they don't just share it with a person from administration. They don't just share it with one board member. They share it with every board member and then administration as well.
Thank you. I guess I'm not understanding the point, though. So was there an issue with that?
There was, yeah, because equal access to information. Again, I think that it's important that we all have equal access to information and that, I mean, again, the transparency,
Sure.
the trust.
Sure.
I was really hopeful coming in on this year and building trusting, respectful relationships with everyone. And so I think that that's a good step in the right direction.
Sure. So I would ask the same from you. So could you
Absolutely.
be clear on what you feel like you did not get and was not shared?
The absence of the board member.
What does that mean?
So that means there was a board member that was going to be absent from a meeting.
Okay.
That board member shared it with administration
Okay.
and didn't share it with the rest of the board members. After that board meeting, then it was shared with other board members.
Okay.
And so there was some confusion. There were decisions made on reschedules of meetings that didn't, they weren't collaborative. It was just told to us, or some of us, I guess, when the reschedule was going to happen. So those things I think are all really important in the governance of the board, and one board member not having more authority than another.
Okay. So I do.
Oh, I'm so sorry.
No. I do understand that. I just feel like we might be kind of, and thanks for the clarification because I felt like we were talking around something. I'm sorry that you're not at liberty to say, but I can't responsibly respond if I don't have clarification on where that information came from. So I would ask you to do the same. I understand confidentiality, but if you're asking us to be team players and work together, I would need that from you also.
I appreciate your response, and I'm not looking for a response. All I'm asking for is trust and transparency amongst us. And I think, again, it's important if we're going to be absent or away from a board meeting, that we share with one another and equal access to information. That's all.
Okay. So if I could just, I'm sorry, I'm not going to ask any more questions around that. I do just want to clarify, there were a couple of comments though, and I just want to clarify that, that we all should know our roles. And again, I've addressed this before. I will respectfully all day allow you to say how you feel and opinions, but to question my integrity and what I know my role is, I would ask you to just, until I have not done that, and you can show that, I would ask that you refrain from saying that.
I apologize if you feel that I'm questioning your integrity. I'm not questioning your integrity.
No, my role as a board member.
So it is our role. It's our
understand that.
responsibility to approve administration cutting a program
Sure.
that's budgeted and funded by the board. And so there were parents up here that were asking questions that went unanswered, which is truly disheartening. And also, and I wasn't not only referring to us, because this is a learning process. The thing, I'm not afraid to be wrong, but I'll admit it when I am, and I'll apologize if that happens. But Dr. Hunt making the statement that he does not need board approval to cut a program and to not, we were blindsided as well, folks. So I apologize again that you were blindsided because there were no conversations regarding cutting of this program. I don't know what kind of consideration was put into it because nothing was shared with us. And so again, that's not up to Dr. Hunt. And I'm sorry, again, that's not meant to be offensive. We need to understand clearly our roles and responsibilities. It's not the responsibility of the superintendent to choose on his own to make a cut of a program. That's up to the board, and we vote on it.
So we have a difference of opinion there. And I am going to just respond to this, and then I would like to move forward with my communication. However, the response is we were following board policy, and that is something that we've been taking very seriously, just like you were saying you take your role very seriously. We do as well, and we are trying to align with board
Who are
policy.
we, though? When you say we,
The
are you
same thing
speaking
you're,
me too?
yeah,
When
the
you say
same
we?
thing,
Okay.
yeah. I mean,
Thank
you've
you.
told me, yeah, I don't speak on behalf of myself.
Well,
and you've
we
said
can
that.
only speak on behalf of ourselves. I can't speak for you.
No, we should be speaking as a board
We
together.
should together, but
Yes.
individually also. I can't speak on behalf of the board as one individual.
Could you please give me the same respect I gave you to
Absolutely.
speak? Thank
Sure.
you.
Yeah,
I
absolutely.
appreciate it. So I just wanted to say that that was why we were not responding. It's not because we didn't want to respond. And so that is why. So I don't know if you got that from the beginning, if you watched the entire board meeting, but that was why we were not, as a board, responding.
I did, but there were choices made on when to respond and when not to respond. And also, you can choose to respond. If you do not have the information with you, then you can go back and respond later. However, I'm going through emails, and some of these individuals, these parents, still don't have answers to their emails that they sent out. But also, what I'm saying is, and I'm hoping that you can understand where I'm coming from, because this is not an attack on the board. I'm disheartened as to what happened and the process that we have no knowledge of in making this cut that affected so many families. So when a family member stood at the podium and asked what consideration went into making this cut, if we aren't prepared to answer at least that question, what are we doing here? How did the cut, how was it made? How were we not prepared to answer at least that question? That's what I don't understand, because I'm sure, I'm confident that a lot of consideration did go into making this cut, although I'm unaware of what it was. Dr. Hunt, I believe that you made consideration when
Gonna respond
deciding
real
to
quick. You
cut.
have communication on 1/9/2026 in my superintendent update specifying the programs that we were going to eliminate. So you do have the information, and you can
That's
read
not
that.
consideration. And so then you should, even more so, you're telling me that question should have been answered. We should have easily been able to answer that. That's all I'm saying. I feel bad for the parents, and I feel bad for the students. And so I believe that. So I hope that the emails that I saw to all of us, that we all received, that went unanswered, I hope that they receive answers. I can't answer them, unfortunately.
Thank you, Ms. Matera. Okay, so I just wanted to kind of move forward. Every meeting, I'm trying to share a quote that kind of aligns with our agenda. And so this quote today is, "The best way to predict the future is to create it," by Peter Drucker. And so as a board, our role is not to predict outcomes, but to thoughtfully shape the conditions that allow our district to remain stable, responsive, and focused on students, both now and the years ahead. The decision, this decision is about examining, the decision we're going to make tonight is about examining our financial realities, determining whether placing this question before our community, I'm talking about the levy, is the appropriate next step, and while continuing transparent conversations and partnering with our community to help shape the future of PCSD. Thank you.
Thank you, Mrs. Sebastian. Ms. Kerpick?
Dr. Early, thank you. I'm the board member in question who was going to miss a meeting and didn't tell anyone or tell everybody. So I just want to apologize if I offended anyone by that. Past practice of the board has always been to inform the president and to inform administration when we won't be here. It's important that Melissa Vancho, our administrative assistant, knows who's not going to be here so she can make sure that our documents are marked accordingly for who's going to motion and who's going to second. Going forward, I'm happy to inform the entire board if I will have an absence. I just didn't know that that was an expectation that was placed on me. But I'm happy to do so, and sorry I didn't before.
Thank you, Ms. Kerpick. Do we have any other board members that have communications? All right, now we'll do Mr. Nucio, the treasurer. Do you have any communications?
I do. Could you pull up the frequently asked questions, please? So I put together some frequently asked questions, and I asked that the board refrain from asking questions until I'm done with the presentation, because I probably will answer some of the questions during the presentation. And some of these have been addressed in previous presentations, but I'll go through it because I know we are voting on putting this on the ballot tonight. So can we change the income tax rate tonight? No, because there's a 100-day rule that the state has. If you want to put on an income tax levy, you have to notify the Department of Taxation 100 days prior to the election date, which was January 26th. So we submitted something by passing a resolution on January 20th. I submitted it. I received certification back from the county a couple days later, and the resolution that's on the agenda tonight reflects the 1.75% income tax levy. Can we withdraw the levy? We can. We've withdrawn a levy, a property tax levy. I think it was last year or the year before. I don't remember exactly when it was, but you can do it, and there's no cost to us to remove it, as long as we do it before they print the ballots. After that, the ballots are printed. We got to pay for the cost, even if we withdraw the levy. We can still withdraw the levy, but we still have to pay for the printing cost. So what is an earned income tax levy? It's on wages and salaries and earned income of people who reside in the district. So I do not reside in the district, but if passed, I would not have to pay it because I don't live in that district, even though I work in the district. So it's only people that live in the district. And what type of income is not earned? This is a common question. Social Security benefits and retirements and income from pension, but there's also capital gains, unemployment, workers' comp, lottery winnings, the whole list there. How is the school district income tax levy collected? they do from employer withholdings. We do this for other districts. I believe Oberlin has a school district income tax, and I think we have a few people that.
You want to hold real quick because the technical difficulty. Hang on 1 second.
Could you go down a little, please? Okay, so like I was saying, we had, I think we have a few employees that live in Oberlin School District, so we withhold school district income tax for them and remit it with our taxes to the state. Quarterly estimated, this is quarterly estimated of some people, if they say they just want to, if they're self-employed or something, and they live in the district, they can make quarterly payments. And their annual tax return is the reconciliation for this. So who collects the school district income tax? The school district income tax is collected by the Ohio Department of Taxation, and people frequently have asked me, is RETA involved or CCA or the cities? They're not involved at all. It's just the Department of Taxation. The regional income tax agency, I know a lot of people are familiar with, and they think, well, since it's an income tax, they must collect it, but it has nothing to do with them at all. This question's come up a couple times. Can we do a hybrid where we do income tax and property tax? The state has changed the law recently, which does not allow a hybrid on operating expenses and school district income tax, but they do allow a combination bond levy and school district income tax, which is what Independence Local School is trying. They're going to try to build a K-8 building using a bond levy and then their income tax to fund operations. That's allowable. So this question came to me, which I guess I never thought of it until I heard it today. If I spend money in the district, I buy stuff at, I don't know, I go to Walmart or Giant Eagle or something, is that funding the school district income tax? And that's actually sales tax. And we have no method of receiving sales tax money right now. That'd be great if we could, but I guess some useless information if you want to know. Your 8% sales tax, 5.75% goes to the state, which they use to fund education, health programs, whatever they fund. 1.25% goes to the county, which they fund their operations, and 1% goes to the Greater Cleveland Regional Transit Authority for most of their operations. That's just useless information, if you're wondering. Do we need to approve a resolution to stop collecting on our 3 emergency levies? We do not need to do that, but for transparency and clarity for the public, it's probably a good idea to do that. So it's not on the agenda for today, but it is probably something that would be a good idea. And Ms. Savanchko, could you pull up the other attachment? I know, that's fine. So I'm sure everyone can read that, so I don't probably need to go through that. Let's see, let me pull it up. So I went through five different scenarios in the current scenario. So there's 3 emergency levies, and they expire at different times, 30, 31, and 34. And they recently passed a law saying that any emergency levy you have now, when it expires, you can renew it once for a 5-year period. So the one that expires in 30, you could go through 35. After that, it drops off. You'd have to put either an operating levy on or some other kind of levy on. Same thing with the one 31 and 34. So I was looking at this. If we have, these are just different scenarios. If you stop collecting one levy in 27 and the other 2 in 28, which was our proposed plan, which is scenario number 1, how good are we in the forecast? That's through fiscal year 33, and the 60-day rule is around fiscal year 30. It's why is there a difference of 3 years? Because it's just like at 58 or 59 days for those couple years. That's why it looks like, well, you think you drop off if you're under 60 days, but it's not. It's just under 60 days, so that's why the difference in that. Then there's scenario 2 that instead of stop collecting 1 in 27, you stop collecting all 3 in 28. And of course, anytime you change from our scenario 1, you're going to go further along with how our funding is positive, because scenario 1 is our worst case scenario if we don't do anything, and then it gets better as you go along. So if you keep collecting, like in scenario 3, you keep collecting, the balance is huge because we're collecting $50 million and we still have our $40 million in property tax levies. So that'd be great, but that's why we're beyond 35. My forecast doesn't go on beyond that. And different scenario 4 and 5, it's you stop collecting one or the other. It's just as similar to scenario 3, but the numbers are not as high. So that's the different things. And we also plan to include our cost reduction program as part of this. So this is just a quick overview of what it looks like. This time I'll take any questions board members would like to ask. Okay, well, that's all I have. Dr. Early?
Thank you, Mr. Nucio. All right, at this time, we are going to welcome Ms. Shuck for our PCPTA Council report.
Okay, can you hear me? Hi, thank you for having me. Greetings from Parma Council of PTA. My name is Amber Shuck. I'm the current Council First Vice President. I hope everyone had a cheerful and blessed holiday season. Units are now focused on the second half of the year and all that needs to be completed. Due to the unpredictable winter weather we've had recently, our January 14th meeting was canceled, and we hope to see everyone at our next meeting. On Wednesday, December 3rd, Parma Council PTAs hosted its winter luncheon at Pazzo's Grand Ballroom. Thank you all again, the guests that were in attendance from the central office, our buildings, and our PTA units. It was very festive and a fun afternoon. We're currently accepting nominations for our annual Tea in PTA, Helping Hands Awards, and Special Education Advocate. The winners of these awards will be invited to and honored at our spring installation dinner in April. Our scholarship program is well underway. Thank you for supporting the scholarship program by sponsoring a scholarship. We are in our 73rd year of the scholarship program, and we're excited to read the applications of our many deserving seniors. On February 11th at 6 p.m., we will have a scholarship workshop for the scholarship sponsors in the Normandy cafeteria. We encourage all board members to attend. We're very excited to host a special PCPTA Scholarship Awards Night and reception at Normandy High School on Wednesday, May 20th. This will be when families and students learn what scholarships they have won and time to celebrate all of our students and the sponsors. On February 11th, we will have our regularly scheduled council meeting at 7 p.m. at Normandy High School in the cafeteria. We're hoping that one of the board members might be able to attend to report. Perfect. February 28th is our PCPTA Monster Hockey Night. We have over 50 friends and family joining us for a night of hockey. Very exciting. Tickets are still available for purchase. And the 50-50 raffle goes toward our scholarship program. On February 25th, Parma Council of PTAs will host our annual Reflections and Calendar Artist Recognition Night. The event takes place at 6:30 p.m. in Valley Forge Auditorium. Invitations are being sent out to the students being recognized and their families. However, all district employees and school board members are welcome to attend. We had several student entries move on to the state level, which is very, very exciting. We will be offering our babysitter trainer course for 6th, 7th, and 8th graders this year on March 7th and March 14th from 8:30 a.m. to noon in the Valley Forge cafeteria. We want to thank Lieutenant Fetter and the numerous volunteers from the Parma Fire Department who will assist our students in becoming CPR certified during this course. Information was delivered to all of the middle school buildings and it's posted on social media. Remember to marry the mission, reflect the change. Thank you, Parma Council of PTAs.
Thank you. All right, coming to the next part of our agenda is public comments for items on the agenda. We did receive 3 public comments tonight, but they indicated on them that they would be doing the public comments at the second part of our meeting. Now moving on, do we have any amendments or walk-on items, Mr. Nucio?
We do not.
Thank you. I move to adopt Resolution 2026-01-37, approval of the written record of proceedings from the January 20th, 2026 Special Board of Education meeting.
Second.
We have a motion and a second to adopt Resolution 2026-01-37. Are there any questions or comments from the board? Roll call, please, Mr. Nucio.
Dr. Early,
Yes.
Mrs. Sebastian,
Yes.
Ms. Kerpick,
Yes.
Mrs. McTaggart,
Yes.
Mr. Reyes.
Yes.
Resolution 2026-01-37 has been approved. All right. Next, we are going to move to business. Ms. McTaggart.
I move to adopt Resolution 2026-01-38, declaring that a case of urgent necessity exists and authorizing to dispense with competitive bidding requirements and award a contract under a cooperative purchasing agreement for HVAC repairs at Shiloh Middle School retroactive to January 8th, 2026 and January 9th, 2026.
Second.
We have a motion and a second to adopt Resolution 2026-01-38. Are there any questions or comments from the board? Roll call, please, Mr. Nucio.
Mrs. McTaggart,
Yes.
Mrs. Sebastian,
Yes.
Ms. Kerpick,
Yes.
Mr. Reyes,
Yes.
Dr. Early.
Yes, Resolution 2026-01-38 has been approved.
I move to adopt Resolution 2026-01-39, authorizing offering advertising sponsorships for district athletic programs.
Second.
We have a motion and a second to adopt Resolution 2026-01-39. Are there any questions or comments from the board?
I have a couple of questions.
Yes, Ms. Smaggart.
Authorizing offering advertising sponsorships for district athletic programs. Are there specific ones in here? Can we pull those up?
They're part of the agenda.
Are we able to pull them up?
They're actually in the business minutes. I don't know if you can pull it up or not. They're hyperlinked. The advertising sponsorship hyperlink.
If you scroll back up, click that hyperlink, please.
Oh, it's clickable. That's good.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Roll call, please, Mr. Nucio.
Mrs. McTaggart,
Yes.
Mrs. Sebastian,
Yes.
Ms. Kerpick,
Yes.
Mr. Reyes,
Yes.
Dr. Early.
Yes, Resolution 2026-01-39 has been approved. All right, we will now move to
Unless another member has anything to discuss. Concludes business.
Thank you. We'll go on to curriculum with Ms. Sebastian. Okay, Ms. McTaggart.
I move to adopt.
No, I was apologizing. That was my mistake. I'm sorry.
Are we okay?
Yeah, we're good.
Okay. I move to adopt Resolution 2016-01-40, approval of overnight field trip to Columbus, Ohio on February 12th through the 14th, 2026.
Second.
We have a motion and a second to adopt Resolution 2026-01-40. Are there any questions or comments from the board? Roll call, please, Mr. Nucio.
Mrs. Sebastian,
Yes.
Ms. Kerpick,
Yes.
Mrs. McTaggart,
Yes.
Mr. Reyes,
Yes.
Dr. Early.
Yes. Resolution 2026-01-40 has been approved.
I move to adopt Resolution 2026-01-41, approval of overnight out-of-state field trip to Washington, D.C. and Gettysburg, Pennsylvania to Washington, D.C. and Gettysburg, Pennsylvania on October 6th, 7th, and 8th, 2026.
Second.
We have a motion and a second for Resolution 2026-01-41. Are there any questions or comments from the board? Roll call, please, Mr. Nucio.
Mrs. Sebastian,
Yes.
Ms. Kerpick,
Yes.
Mrs. McTaggart,
Yes.
Mr. Reyes,
Yes.
Dr. Early.
Yes. Resolution 2026-01-39 has been approved. Nope, sorry, 2026-01-41 has been approved.
Unless another board member has anything else to discuss, this concludes curriculum.
Thank you. For Finance, Mr. Reyes.
Thank you, Dr. Early. I move to adopt Resolution 2026-01-42, approval of the December 2025 financial report.
Second.
We have a motion and a second to adopt Resolution 2026-01-42. Are there any questions or comments from the board?
Dr. Early?
Yes, Mr. Reyes.
I haven't seen this report yet. Could we pull it up? And Sean, would you mind talking through it for us, please?
Sure, yes. I emailed it to the board last week, but I'd be happy to go through it. So it's my my monthly report I sent to the board. The first page is a comparison from December of 24 through December of 25, and then notes on the right, which the reason why there's a difference. I shouldn't say that there's difference in all of them, but a larger difference in that. If you go to the next page, I know. So this is kind of like the 5-year. This is like the 5-year forecast. If you go down a little further, it's like the 5-year forecast by month. So in the 5-year forecast, these have the same categories. So I do this by month to show where the revenues and expenditures are. And obviously, we haven't had January through June, so they're blank right there. Go to the next page. And then just a little bit about the revenue, what we budgeted and what the actual and what the difference is. Like, of course, property taxes are going to be negative there because we haven't received all our property taxes yet. We received some in February and March. And same thing with unrestricted grant and aid we get those through June, so they're going to be negative because as we get closer to June, those numbers become positive. So then this is a comparison of the different categories with over 3-year periods and how much money we spent on each of the categories. If there's something that's really out of place, then we'd have to do some investigation, but everything seems to be okay here. If you go to the next page, please. And we're talking about expenditures there and how much our expenditures are and our encumbrances. And we compared stuff through this time at last year, how they're looking. And this is just like the dollar amount chart we had before, but this is based on how we are. So we're 50% through the year because we've done 6 months. So the black bar is where 50% is, and the yellow bar is where the 3-year average is on those categories. Some of them are around 50, and then some are just a little lower, and that's just how things. Capital outlay is a smaller outlay compared to salaries. So salaries are going to be more consistent around the black bar because there's just a larger dollar amount. If you go to the next page, this is the previous one in dollar amounts, salaries, benefits, and you can see that they're pretty close on a lot of things. If you go to the next page, please. And this is the last page, and this is our cash balance. And you can see our cash balance is $52 million, and the 60-day cash policy, which Dr. Hunt frequently refers to, is up there about around $26 million. And the chart below there just shows the 3 years where we are. Our low months are going to be December and January, just because we get property taxes in July and January. So that's just when the yellow bar going across is where our 60-day cash policy is. And I send this to the board every month. I know I sent this to everyone prior to this meeting, prior to the Finance Committee meeting, but I'm glad to go through it every month if you'd like.
Thank you, I appreciate it. That's all I have.
Thank you, Mr. Reyes. Thank you, Mr. Nucio. So I'm going back. I said, we asked if anyone had questions, right? We didn't motion in second yet, did we?
We did motion in second. We did not vote yet.
Okay, thank you. So no other questions? All right, roll call, please, Mr. Nucio.
Mr. Reyes.
Yes.
Mrs. McTaggart.
Yes.
Ms. Kerpick.
Yes.
Mrs. Sebastian.
Yes.
Dr. Early.
Yes. Resolution 2026-01-42 has been approved.
I move to adopt Resolution 2026-01-43, approval of supplemental appropriations.
Second.
We have a motion and a second to adopt Resolution 2026-01-43. Are there any questions or comments from the board? Roll call, please, Mr. Nucio.
Mr. Reyes.
Yes.
Mrs. McTaggart.
Yes.
Ms. Kerpick.
Yes.
Mrs. Sebastian.
Yes.
Dr. Early.
Yes. Resolution 2026-01-43 has been approved.
I move to adopt Resolution 2026-01-44, approval of the agreement between Parma City School District and Taylor Oswald LLC.
Second.
We have a motion and a second to adopt Resolution 2026-01-44. Are there any questions or comments from the board? Roll call, please, Mr. Nucio.
Mr. Reyes.
Yes.
Mrs. McTaggart.
Yes.
Ms. Kerpick.
Yes.
Mrs. Sebastian.
Yes.
Dr. Early.
Yes. Resolution 2026-01-44 has been approved.
I move to adopt Resolution 2026-01-45, a resolution submitting to the electors of the school district of the question of a 1.75% school district income tax on the earned income of individuals residing in the school district.
Second.
We have a motion and a second to adopt Resolution 2026-01-45. Are there any questions or comments from the board?
I do.
Yes, Ms. McTaggart.
Wanted to read a statement. I apologize that I'm not able to deliver this message in person. Due to the reschedule of the previous board meeting, it conflicted with my Parma City Council meeting. This is coming from Councilman Kevin Kusmal. Currently, I'm out of town and unable to give this message in person. I have lived in Parma my entire life, 32 years. I am a proud product of the Parma City School District from pre-K to 12th grade, two-time Normandy grad, preschool and high school. A lot of the opportunities I've had in my life are because of this school
Ms.
district.
McTaggart, you can't read a public comment from someone that's not present. It directly violates our board policy.
It's been done in the past.
It doesn't matter.
What policy is this that says that I can't choose to read one?
There's a public comment policy that states that someone getting a public comment has to be here in person to
So
give the
I
public
can
comment.
choose as a board member to read something from Councilman Kevin Kusmal, and that's what I choose to do.
Is it
In
regarding
regards-
the levy?
Yes, ma'am. He is,
I mean, I would also, vote to see it's a violation.
Well, I'll take it as my statement.
Yeah, the policy is
0169.1.
Yeah. Public participation at board meetings. The Board of Education, I'm not going to read the entire policy, but it is there. So I want to scroll down to the part about the board may permit individuals to attend meetings remotely through live broadcast. However, public participation will be limited to those that are in attendance at the meeting site only. The board is not responsible for technology failures that prevent or disrupt an individual from attending remotely. Councilman Kuzma also emailed me asking me to read him the statement. I told him via email that that was not permitted because it violated our policy. If you're stating that you wish to read that, I believe it's a violation of our policy. So I would, if I have a second, I would come to a roll call and we'd vote if you would read that or not.
It's not in violation of the policy if I choose to read it.
But as a board, we can
he's
vote
not-
if we're doing that or not. Because we can
So
decide as a
if
board
you
if we
want
think
to
it's in
argue over
violation.
policy, then I think we should bring back the PAGE program and take our responsibility and actually vote on cutting that program.
We're not that's not on this part of the agenda. That does
It's-
not align with Robert's rules. We're not going to engage in an argument. We're not on
We
that
don't
part of the
have to,
agenda.
But I'm choosing to read this statement.
So I would
And I
roll,
think you
Mr.
could-
Nucio, I would roll call if we would like to allow Ms. McTaggart to read this statement. If the board votes yes, then yes. If no, then it's a violation and we're moving forward. I am the facilitator of the meeting. Therefore, if we vote we're not permitting it, we're not permitting it. So
Dr.
roll call,
Early,
please,
you are
Mr.
the facilitator, but you do
Roll call,
not
please,
get
Mr.
to
Nucio.
determine what our policy is. It does not state that I cannot read this.
Mr. Reyes,
You
if you
can't
vote
just
yes,
make
you're
things up.
stating.
Point of
you can read
order.
it. Thank you, Ms. Sebastian. Mr. Reyes, if you vote yes, you're stating that it's not a violation of policy and she can read it. If you vote no, you're agreeing that it would violate policy and she cannot read it. Yes, she can read. No, she cannot read.
Yes.
Ms. McTaggart,
So state that again, please, Dr. Early. So we're voting on if it's in violation of our policy, correct?
So the
It is
question
not
is,
in
does it
violation.
violate our policy? I said a roll call. If you would
I
like
was just going to-
No, you're okay. If you would like to proceed with you reading it, I said we'd vote yes. If we say we don't think you should read it, then vote would be no. So Mr. Reyes voted yes, that you should read it.
I also vote yes, that I should read it.
Ms. Kripik,
No, I vote that we adhere strictly to our policies. I believe that that is of the utmost importance.
Mrs. Sebastian,
No, not only for adhering to our policy, but it's about equitable access for every community member. And if we did that, we open that up to Facebook, social media, for people who are not in attendance to come to the meetings. And then that opens all of us for every constituent to come and have that read. So that's my no.
Dr. Early,
No. So we will move forward. Ms. McTaggart, you were providing comment on the resolution that was motioned and second. Is there anything else you would like to provide regarding that specific resolution?
There is. So unfortunately, because we don't have a plan or any transparent plan, I think that it would be difficult for me to go back to the taxpayers and ask them to pay yet more money when we can't tell them where the money is going. While we're saying that we're not going to make cuts, and then yet the next week we come back and we make a cut, cutting programs, not knowing the weight of that cut, and even if this 1.75% income tax levy does pass, there will need to be cuts made, even if that passes. And so I think it's $2 million the first year, $5 million the second year, and $8 million the third year. Is that correct, Mr. Nucio?
our plan is 15 million over 3 years. We don't have dollar amounts 2, 5, and 8 locked into a plan. This is $15 million over 3 years, and with with the income tax estimate going up by $2.5 million, we believe that we'd only have to cut $12.5 million rather than the $15 million originally stated. That was in my slide that I had up earlier.
Thank you for clarifying. The 2 million, 5 million, and 8 million, I got that from you previously in a finance meeting. If that's changed, I apologize, but I appreciate you clarifying. So I think that knowing that we would still have to make $12.5 million worth of cuts, even if this passes, and we don't know where those cuts are coming from, I can't ask anyone for additional money. That's all I have to say.
Thank you.
May I make a comment?
Yes, Dr. Hunt.
Part of the discussion tonight not only is the vote to put this on the ballot, but it's also about the renewal levies, where Sean walked through some scenarios. So the significance of any cost-saving measures or cuts, or however you want to describe that, really weighs on what this board may choose to do with the renewals. You may come back and say, we're not giving back the renewals. You may say, hold one and give back two. You may say, hold 3 until 29. So part of the discussion on the renewal scenarios will play into the significance of any cost savings measure, cuts, or however you would like to describe them moving forward. But in transparency, we are going to continue to be fiscally responsible, looking at all programs, all people, as part of the role of the administration to make sure that we are doing our part to make sure that we are being fiscally responsible. I think the discussion that if you want to have the discussion about scenarios in the future, if this is something, this measure is voted for, then the discussion next would be about the renewal pieces and what impact that has on how we might move forward with any reductions. Thank you.
Thank you. Do any other board members have comments or questions?
Dr. Early, if I may?
Yes, Ms. Kerpick.
Thank you. I just have a couple, I guess, more statements than they are questions that I'd like to make, if that's okay. When I come to thinking about if I want to put this levy on the ballot, there's a couple things that come to mind to me that are very important to me. The first thing is doing what's best for our students. And I believe that putting this on the ballot would be what is best for our students. To me, it's very basic. Do we need the money? Yes or no? It is not up to me to decide if I think this is going to pass or if I think this is going to fail. The only way that we will truly know what our community feels is if we take this to the ballot and we allow them to vote on it. Thank you.
You can make the statement now and before we go to vote. That's fine, yeah. Any other questions or comments from the board? So I am going to, before we move to the vote, I also would like to make a statement. I believe as a board, our mission is when we're making voting and decisions is what's best for students. So I would agree with a lot of what was just stated, that it's not our place to judge if it's going to pass or not pass or campaign. There's strict laws surrounding that, but we do need to, we are in a financial place where we do need to secure money. We are hearing the feedback regarding property taxes, and as a board, I would recommend that we have a special meeting sometime, ideally, I think in the next month, to dive into the property tax relief side of this further. I know this resolution specifically is not regarding the property taxes, it's regarding the income tax. But I do think as a board and with Mr. Nucio and Dr. Hunt, we do need to have some collaboration and conversation regarding what the property tax relief part of that would look like. I do think we have I appreciate the scenarios, Mr. Nucio, that you've started to put together. I appreciate that over the next few months, if the board members come to you wanting to talk through different scenarios, your willingness to share that information with all of us. So before we move into the vote, I did want to share that I do support us putting the income tax levy on the ballot. However, I am hopeful and that the board would agree with a special meeting in the future to dive into the property tax relief part of it further. If there's no other comments or questions.
I have one more comment.
Sure, Ms. McTaggart.
So I love that idea, and I do feel that that's very important because that is coming down. I would hope also that we could engage in collaboration in talking about that $12.5 million worth of cuts that's needed and comb through every single department and make decisions based on information and getting detailed information on what that looks like, the amount of money that we would save per cuts, and how would it impact students and families. Because I'm not for cutting programs such as the PAGE program, and I would not be in favor of pay to play. As I've said in the past, and as I went over the numbers with Mr. Nucio when I first took my seat on the board, pay to play didn't even make sense. The amount of money that it brought in, it didn't even make sense. And what I don't want is to have some kind of scare tactic or chase people to the ballot or corner them into voting yes on more property taxes. I wouldn't vote on things that impact our students because, as you said, Dr. Early, we are here for students and families. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. McTaggart. If there's no other questions or comments from the board, roll call, please, Mr. Nucio.
Mr. Reyes,
Yes.
Ms. McTaggart,
No.
Ms. Kerpick,
Yes.
Mrs. Sebastian,
Yes, but can I read a brief statement?
I
Because,
think we need to vote first.
can we vote and then read that? Okay.
Mrs.
Yes.
Sebastian,
Yes.
Dr. Early,
Yes. Resolution 2026-01-45 has been approved. Ms. Sebastian.
Thank you, Dr. Early. I just wanted to say tonight my yes vote for the school district income tax question that we are going to put on the ballot. I did this because I believe our community deserves, as previously stated, that they deserve the opportunity to weigh in on a long-term funding option that addresses the reality of expiring renewal levies and provides greater financial stability for our district. My support is accompanied, though, by clear expectations. I need to see detailed, transparent plan for the approximately now $12.5 million in required cost reductions. I believe that we've all stated this. We don't take that lightly. So, along with defined safeguards to ensure the lowest possible impact on students and classrooms. Financial stability must be achieved thoughtfully and without compromising educational quality. I also believe it's important to be honest with our community. While we can plan responsibly, we cannot predict beyond your 5-year forecast with certainty, and I do not believe it is appropriate to promise that the district would never return to the voters. If future conditions require that, the community deserves clarity around what that would look like, why it would be necessary, and how it would differ from the recurring renewal cycle we are seeking to move away from. While it would be ideal to wait until November to place this question on the ballot, doing so would likely require the district to begin implementing approximately $12.5 million, so half of, right? So it would be, we would be saving right now by putting it on the ballot in May, correct? We'd be cutting that 12 in half.
Well, if it was approved, this resolution is approved in May or in November, the collection period doesn't start until January.
Okay.
So had this, say it goes to the ballot and it fails, it could go again in November and it doesn't affect the collection period for the revenue.
Okay.
If it fails both in, hypothetically, in May and November, and you put it on next year, May, it won't start collecting until January of '28.
Okay.
So that, the cuts we're planning are separate from that.
Okay. So as a taxpayer myself, I just want to personally let everybody know I am going to feel the impact of the decision that we made tonight as well. At the same time, I understand the potential impact this decision may have on the long-term stability of our district and the strength of our communities, and the responsibility weighs heavily in my consideration. So, and we've already considered that we are putting this on the ballot. I expect that the Board of Education be kept informed at every step of this process. Regular updates, transparency and planning, and ongoing board engagement are essential to maintaining accountability and public trust. This vote is not about guaranteeing outcomes, but about committing to responsible planning, transparency, and shared accountability as we work toward a stable future for Parma City Schools. Thank you.
Mr. Reyes, do you have anything else for finance?
Yes, I do, actually. I'd like to bring up the topic of the tax overpayment last year for the $11.7 million. So I just need some clarity on a couple of things, Mr. Nucio. Is this common for property tax payment to come this much over? Does it happen often?
I sure hope not, because then the county's not doing their job.
So have you ever had it happen before, or even a smaller amount?
Well, I've had issues with the county on millage and rates, but never where they've sent me $11.7 million too much money.
Okay. And so did you receive the 11.7 in the first payment of the year or the second payment?
Both.
Both. Okay. And which funds is the money in now?
So most of our property tax goes into the general fund, but we do have a permanent improvement levy fund that receives approximately $5.7 million a year. But the emergency levies that we're talking about it was overpayment on emergency levies, and that all emergency levies go into the general fund.
Okay. So are we allowed to spend this money even though it was an overpayment, or do we have to wait until?
We can spend it.
Okay. And what is the repayment plan that you agreed with the county?
So they're going to reduce our millage for emergency levies over a 3-year period. And because we owe them close to $12 million, so it's $3.9 million, they're going to collect less in 3 consecutive years. So
Okay.
They're just lowering the millage because we're not going to issue them a check for $3.9 million. They're just going to collect less from property owners for over a 3-year period.
Okay. And could you explain how that affects the revenue line and the fund balance for those 3 years? I know you have it on the spreadsheet, so that might be a good idea to pull that up so we can all see it.
Well, I believe property tax revenue is lower for the 3 years. I don't have it in front of me, but I'm pretty sure that it's negative. It's not negative. I should say it decreases a little in the 3-year period because we're receiving less property taxes.
Yeah, so I have your 5-year forecast from October of 25, and fiscal year 2030 shows unreserved fund balance of negative $36 million, and then the 5-year forecast that you recently shared shows a negative reserve fund of $43 million. And basically, our property tax revenue is flat from 28, 29, and 30 because is that because of the repayment, Bob?
So, yes,
plan,
because the county budget commission would approve the rates in December. So had they not accepted my rates that I agreed to with the county, the people I have in the finance department there, we would have we'd have a similar looking forecast to October, but since they agreed to my repayment plan, then the one I'm submitting in February includes the repayment plan. The county could have said, no, we're not taking your repayment plan and make us pay back all $11.7 million in 1 year. I didn't want that to happen. That's why I was proactive and contacted them, say that you paid me too much money and we would like stable finances over a 3-year period. So that's why we have the repayment plan.
Okay. Did the board have any input on the repayment plan?
No, they did not.
Okay. So I have my own business, and when I look at this, it kind of it makes me a little worried because instead of just giving the money back, and it would have kept our revenue increasing for those 3 years. Now we're talking about cuts. We're talking about not having money for these programs, and now we're going to have even less money for those 3 years. Is there a way that we can give the 11.7 back and cancel this repayment plan?
I don't know why I'd want to give back all the money at once. If I have the money now and I can have it in the bank, we get interest on it. And if we have our finances drop by $11.7 million in 1 year, that affects our programs, because if we don't have the money to operate these programs, then we have to make cuts, and I don't think that's in the best interest of students. It's the county's error. It's not my error.
Right, but this is a surplus of $11.7 million. So really, we already budgeted for this year, so 11.7 should just be extra money. So if we gave it back, it shouldn't hurt the district. Is that correct?
We have to give it back. We're not entitled to it. It's not my money.
Right.
That wasn't the question.
That's the question I'm asking.
I guess
you.
I don't understand where you're
So
going
what I'm
on
saying
this.
is, since it's a surplus of 11.7 and we gave it back, really it wouldn't hurt the district. The only way it hurts the district is in fiscal year 28, 29, and 30, when our revenue is now decreasing for those years instead of increasing as it's always has.
I don't know where you're going on this.
I'm just trying to figure out why we kept the money and why the board didn't have any input on the repayment plan.
I spoke with the board president, Mr. Vaughn, last year, and board vice president, Mr. Ruda, about this when I discovered it, and I told them we're not entitled to this money. I've talked to our legal counsel, and they agree we're not entitled to money. So I don't understand why I would pay $11 million back at once or $12 million back at once when I could put it in the bank and get interest.
Yeah,
I'm not giving them the interest.
It's not our money. So was there a resolution passed to enter the repayment program?
No,
Or
there's
plan,
no-
I'm sorry, I don't
no
want to call it
resolution was
program.
required.
No resolution is required. Is there an ORC that gives you authority to do that?
ORC in the section that covers school districts explicitly says what needs to be approved, like textbooks adoptions, appropriations. It does not address overpayments by county budget commissions.
So I have ORC here, 3313.31, and it states the treasurer shall be the chief fiscal officer to the school district, shall be responsible for the financial affairs of the district, and shall report to and is subject to the direction of the district board of education. So if we enter into a plan like this that really affects our revenue, I'm not sure why the board wouldn't have final say on this. To me, it doesn't make a lot of sense. And you're a smart guy. You know a lot more about this than I do. This is just from me reading a couple hours a day. So if there's something I'm missing, please inform me. I'm just trying to figure this out. That's all.
I'll just repeat, it's the county's error. It's not my problem. Why would I pay them $11.7 million when I could pay them 3.9? That doesn't make any sense.
You're paying them back 3.9?
$3.9 million over a 3-year period. 3.9
per year?
Per year for a 3-year period.
Right. So like I said, the new 5-year forecast, and has this 5-year forecast been filed?
It has not been approved by the board. It's going to be at the February 12th meeting.
And this is for May's 5-year forecast?
The 5-year forecast now has to be done in August and February.
So the updated forecast will be for
February.
February? Okay. So your updated forecast for '27, and this is on the attachment. If you guys want to bring it up, you can take a look at it. Finance committee docs on the attachment up there.
May I just make one comment? I think that it makes sense if we received how much? $11.7 million. And the reason that we're paying it back in increments is that now that we have it and we're allowed to be on a payment plan, we can earn interest. So we can actually bring in revenue from that money, from what I understand from what Mr. Nucio just said.
You're correct, Mrs. McTaggart.
Yeah, but when we receive an amount of money in this sum, the board should have final authority on what happens with it. We have fiscal responsibility over the funds of this district.
I disagree with you.
Well, ORC
Ohio Revised Code does not explicitly say I have to bring that to the board for approval. I did bring it to the board president and board vice president and kept them apprised of what's going on, but no vote was required by Ohio Revised Code.
So I'll read Ohio Revised Code 3313.31 one more time. It says the treasurer shall be a chief fiscal officer of the school district, shall be responsible for financial affairs of the district and shall report to and is subject to the direction of the district Board of Education.
That is correct. And I informed my board president and board vice president of the situation. They knew the entire time what was going on, and they were fine with the situation.
Was this
Mr. Reyes, Mr. Nucio, I'm going to step in here. Per Robert's Rules of Orders, it's becoming repetitive. I feel like we're saying the same thing now back and forth. We just need to wrap up the thought, or we can move it to the Finance Committee to discuss further at the next meeting. But we're just going back and forth, it feels like, at this point.
Wasn't this the environment to talk about these items?
We're saying the same thing over and over again. Like, it's just bouncing. You read the revised code twice. Mr. Nucio said the same thing 3 times. I guess we just need to wrap up the thought, or what is the point that we're getting to?
I'm trying to understand what happened with $11.7 million.
He's answered that question.
No, he hasn't.
Yes, we have a repayment plan that he's giving over the 3 years. Ms. McTaggart provided an additional point of clarification, rewording what Mr. Nucio has already stated.
Where is the $11.7 million today?
It's in the bank.
Which bank? Which fund?
We have
General
Star
fund?
Ohio, which is our main account for our money. That's where the bank, where the county wires our money. I mean, I don't have it in my office. It's in the bank.
So I would, my
I have one
recommendation
more
would be.
question.
Sure, absolutely.
So I have your 5-year forecast from May of 25, and fiscal year 25 shows $159 million in total revenues, and then your financial forecast of October of 25 shows $160 million in total revenues. That's only $1 million difference. Was the 11.7 reported on either of these 5-year forecasts, or was it noted that we have an extra 11.7 that we might have to pay back?
If we receive the revenue, my 5-year forecast is what the estimated revenue is. So if we estimate that we're going to get $160 million and that includes an overpayment, then that's what it is.
So was the 11.7 included in either 5-year forecast?
Yes.
Thank you. Do I have any other questions?
Thank you, Mr. Reyes. Do you want to read that? Do you want to read that like that ending statement for finance, the one that I missed for Ms. McTaggart?
Unless any other board member has an item for discussion, this concludes finance.
Thank you. All right, we'll move over to Ms. McTaggart for Human Resources.
I move to adopt Resolution 2026-01-46, approval of the following certificated exhibits: confirmation of stipend amounts, confirmation of supplemental appointments. Excuse me, it's the end.
Second. We have a motion and a second to adopt Resolution 2026-01-46. Are there any questions or comments from the board? Roll call, please, Mr. Nucio.
Ms. McTaggart,
Yes.
Ms. Kerpick,
Yes.
Mr. Reyes,
Yes.
Mrs. Sebastian,
Yes.
Dr. Early.
Yes, Resolution 2026-01-46 has been approved.
I move to adopt Resolution 2026-01-47, approval of the following classified exhibits: confirmation of classified appointments, confirmation of classified replacements, confirmation of classified changes, acceptance of classified resignations, approval of classified non-compensated leaves of absences.
Second. We have a motion and a second to adopt Resolution 2026-01-47. Are there any questions or comments from the board? Roll call, please, Mr. Nucio.
Ms. McTaggart,
Yes.
Ms. Kerpick,
Yes.
Mr. Reyes,
Yes.
Mrs. Sebastian,
Yes.
Dr. Early.
Yes, Resolution 2026-01-47 has been approved.
I do have one comment under Human Resources. I sent an email on January 8th requesting information. There was information uncovered on Facebook in regards to 6 or 7, I'm unclear, individuals throughout the district that are on paid leaves of absence. And I requested information regarding that. I didn't receive a response at all. I'd like a response, but also I would like to move that we meet in executive session to discuss personnel matters regarding these 6 or 7 employees within the district that are on paid leaves of absence.
To clarify, Mrs. McTaggart, are you making a motion when you say you move, or are you just saying, I would like to do this?
Making a motion.
Second.
Roll call, please, Mr. Nucio.
Mrs. McTaggart,
Yes.
Mr. Reyes,
Yes.
Ms. Kerpick,
I'm struggling to vote on this when I don't fully understand. I feel like we would be meeting in executive session if this had risen to the level where it would require action from the board, but I don't agree that we should be prematurely meeting in executive session to discuss something that could come to a vote from the board, because if we're meeting without full information, that could potentially sway a future vote from us. So for that reason, my answer is no.
The executive session is for discussion.
We're mid-vote.
You gotta do the roll
I
call.
apologize. I apologize.
Mrs. Sebastian,
Before I say my vote, I guess I need clarification on, I just have to vote? I can't get clarification?
no statement, you just have to vote it. Unless you're confused, unless you're asking a
I
question.
am,
first.
that's why I'm out.
Okay.
Thank you. So I guess I need clarification on who the appropriate people that would need to be there. I would need more information, honestly. So I would have to say no, but my no vote is not because I don't think that we need that information. So I just want to be clear about that. So I'm no, because I don't believe we have the appropriate people for an executive session tonight.
Dr. Early,
My vote is also no, but with a statement of being that I feel that the appropriate people should be present for that conversation, and that conversation could be prepared adequately for us. I do think that part of this could come on the work session on the 17th. We could have some conversation around what can and cannot be
cannot.
shared with us.
Oh,
No, just like so we can understand as a board, like what can and cannot be shared regarding personnel. So my vote would be no. Ms. McTaggart, do you have anything else under human resources?
I do. So I'd like to comment further on that. Meeting with the 2 individuals from Finding Leaders that helped us hire Dr. Hunt in this position. I think that we need to have retreats with another outside resource, because there's a conflict of interest, I believe, there. And also, it is our responsibility, and we have access to all information in the district, all personnel information. And meeting in executive session when something like this comes up, there are 6 or 7 individuals that we found out from Facebook that are under investigation for inappropriate behavior on some level, which is what Dr. Hunt had emailed after finding that information on Facebook, asking him about it, and responding to the previous board. It is our responsibility to, from the beginning to the end, okay? And we should be meeting in executive session as soon as something like that happens. We're charged with knowing all of the information. We don't know anything. We have no information at all. And he's actually, it's in violation of his contract. And unfortunately, my laptop died, so I can't access the email. You might be able to, Dr. Hunt. It was sent to you on January 8th. You could reference the bylaws and also the ORC that you're in violation of, as well as your, 314 and whatever of your contract. So we are here for student safety. We're here for kids and families. and these individuals affected kids and families. And it is our responsibility, that's why we're elected to be here, is to protect them. We do. Unfortunately, though, there's some discrepancy, I guess, on what information we have access to, and that's unfortunate. So,
Not with me. I don't have a discrepancy.
oh, I thought you just said that you did.
No, I said who needs to be there.
I'm sorry. I said who needs to be there, not what information we have access to. I believe we need that information. I was clear about that.
But
In my
you said
vote.
no to the executive
I
session
said
where
no.
discovery would happen.
I said no to that because I don't believe we have the appropriate people. Not that we don't need that information. I was very clear.
Okay, so who would be the appropriate people?
Yeah, I mean,
Wait, I'm sorry, Dr. Early. You are the president that facilitates meetings. However, I have a question, and this is a very serious thing. And it seems like you continue to, have emotional responses with things that I say that you may not like, and that's okay. But to have emotional outbursts is different. And so this is a question for board member that discussions are allowed within a meeting. That's
Ms.
what we're here
Mataggart,
for.
can I was mid-sentence. So part of board ethics is that we respect the vote once it's been taken. I respect yours. I don't question it.
I'm not
I gave
questioning,
you-
I'm asking for
Can I
clarification.
please finish?
Sure.
I was clarifying, and I said it twice, why, and you were questioning it. I said-
Clarifying, as you are clarifying.
You're doing it again,
I'm doing what again?
questioning me.
I'm telling you I'm clarifying.
I'm done. I said my vote.
Okay, that's fine
I
if
would
you're
wish
done.
you would do
So
the same thing.
My last comment is, so if it's the appropriate people and not the executive session, then in executive session with our attorney, with the superintendent, through discovery, then you would find out who the appropriate people are. It would be the board members, the superintendent, someone from the crisis intervention team, if they were involved in the internal investigations at all with the inappropriate behavior, and the board members. So
I do not see those people here tonight. That's why I'm saying I don't believe we have the appropriate people.
Oh, see, I appreciate that. Now I understand.
That's what I was trying to clarify, but I feel like you were questioning the vote more than you were
But I'm trying to
looking
tell you.
understand.
No,
Okay.
now I understand.
Okay, good.
And I was trying to see what
Okay.
discussion does?
That's
It
great.
brings on understanding.
It's, discussion is
this
good if it's respectful, Ms.
Yes,
Mataggart.
and I'm very respectful. So what I was getting at, we don't have to have executive session this evening.
Okay.
We vote on executive session and then we plan it.
That was the motion.
So,
I'm just.
I think that's what Mr. Nucio, maybe there was a misunderstanding. I think that's what Mr. Nucio was asking was, are you motioning for it to happen tonight?
I was simply just saying, is she making a motion for an executive session?
that's what I was doing.
I did not, I wasn't specifying tonight or at some other period.
Can you call a new question?
Dr. Early?
Yes, Ms. Karpik.
May I read from our policy? Okay, so I'm reading under policy 0165.2, special meetings. So this policy references how special meetings, which my understanding is that would include an executive session. Mr. Nucio, am I correct?
You are correct.
Okay, how special meetings may be called. I just want to read this policy so we can all fully understand all ways that special meetings may be called aside from a vote on it tonight. I am just going to read section C, if that's okay. Or actually, you know what? I'll read the whole thing. Special meetings, which include emergency meetings, shall be called by the president or the treasurer or by two members of the board by serving a written notice of the time, place, and purpose of such meeting upon each board member at least 2 days in advance of the meeting. This notice shall be signed by the official or members calling the meeting. The agenda for a special meeting is limited to the purposes set forth in the public notice that is provided at least 48 hours in advance of the meeting. At the special meeting, the board may only discuss those issues set forth on the agenda whether in open session or executive session. Emergency meetings are a subset of special meetings of the board and may be called by the president, treasurer, or 2 members of the board. Notice of the time, place, and purpose of the emergency meeting will be given immediately to board members and to the news media that have requested notification. The agenda for an emergency meeting is confined to the announced purposes of the meeting. So my point in reading that is that we, in my opinion of reading this policy, we only need 2 board members to call a meeting. So I just wanted to read that going forward so everyone is aware of how this could be called. This doesn't necessarily need to be called tonight, is my understanding also. This could be called, at a later time.
I understand that the same way.
Dr. Early, just point of clarification then, if that was a change in what was being stated, my no vote was not to have an executive session tonight, not to never have an executive session about this. I think it's very important.
I would agree. I was under the impression that we were voting for the executive session set forth within the agenda itself, not at any point to have the conversation. Because I do agree that if we are seeking as a board clarification on matters that impact student safety or students, that we should be privy to that information. Ms. McTaggart, do you have anything else under human resources?
I would like to schedule then the meeting, since we're all here, if we can do that either now with, the public, or right after the meeting.
Could we do it right after the meeting?
Sure.
Perfect. Thank you.
That's all I have, unless another board member has anything to discuss. That concludes human resources.
Thank you. We do not have anything under policy this evening. So we will now move to public comment. We appreciate members from our community taking the time to share their thoughts with the board. As you come up, please state your name, address, and direct remarks to the board president. Your feedback is important to us. While we may not be able to respond this evening, the appropriate individual, such as the superintendent, treasurer, or another designee, will follow up with you within 72 hours as outlined by our policy. If the situation arises that you have not heard with someone within 72 hours, please email the board members directly so that we can follow up on that. To ensure fairness and consistency for all speakers, a 3-minute timer will be used for each comment. I will raise my hand maybe if you're still speaking when there's like 15 seconds left, so that your time, you know that it's concluding and you're not just cut off abruptly at the 3-minute mark. This is in alignment with our board policy 0169.1, and it's important that we apply the time limit consistently for all public comments. If you do not have an opportunity to complete your full file and would like to share that additional information, I will remain after the meeting. I also want to share with the board, since last meeting, I did have a couple members reach out, sharing some ideas and talking through what the public comment would look like. So I would like to propose that at our work session on the 17th, one of our items we discussed that day could be our public participation policy and what we would like that to look like moving forward, if we're in agreement to that.
I think that would be great.
Okay. Because I think if we have different, while I am the facilitator, I am one of 5. So if we have feelings about what this should look like, I think that would be an appropriate time for us in a work session to work through that policy. So we have 3 public comments this evening. We will start with the first one. Martin Stancic, if you would like to come forward, please.
Thank you very much, board, for your time. Martin Stancic. I live on Lawrence Drive Apartments. First thing, when I was here last time, I proposed 3 questions.
I'm sorry, Mr. Stancic, can you state your full address, please?
5500 Lawrence Drive, Parma 44129.
Thank you.
When I was here last time, I proposed 3 questions that I had expected an answer to. Now, I know it snowed, I know it's rained, I know all this kind of stuff, but I would like to have an answer to those questions within the 72 hours. The first question, to remind everybody, was that the levy promised, if it failed, to have cuts. I'd like to know how many have been done and when they're going to be done. Number two, the cost to administer the Ohio tax fund that you've been talking about. I did my own research, and it cost 1.75% of the $40 million for them to administer it, which is like $700,000 per year. And I've seen nothing mentioned about that cost. And also that money would produce an interest rate, like Mr. Sean was saying, and who gets the interest on that money? Now, also, too, one thing that I saw come up was the PACE situation. Now, are those administrators and employees of PACE being terminated, or are they being rolled over back to the system? Is it Page or PACE?
Page.
Page. Excuse me. Page. Well, I went to Berea School, so I can't talk very well. But the Page system, the employees there, are they being terminated or rolled over? Because if they're being rolled over within the system, then the net cost is like 17%, because the payroll is still going out. So I was curious if I could have an answer to what that allocation is about. So those are the questions I had, and would appreciate some answers. One last thing about the questions. Give us a form to work with, because we're shooting blind here in terms of how to phrase our questions, who to say. So the idea 217, at the 217 is a good idea. So at least we can have a format to present the questions. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Stancic. And like we discussed prior to the meeting, you should have received follow-up within 72 hours at the last board meeting. I apologize that that did not occur. I gave you my email and card. If you do not hear from the superintendent, the treasurer, or a designee within 72 hours this evening, please email the board and let us know so that we can follow up. One second.
Could I address the second question that he asked? Because it's a quick answer, I guess.
Would it be okay if Mr. Stanzik, can Mr. Nucio speak with you after the meeting to answer one of your questions? After the meeting, please. Thank you. And Mr. Stanzik, the other questions you listed, I know you didn't get through all of them in the 3-minute mark. Can I share those with Mr. Nucio and Dr. Hunt after the meeting? Sure. Sure. Thank you. Mr. Nucio, is that fine to speak with him after the meeting?
Yeah, that worked.
All right, thank you. All right, our second comment is from Ms. Knapp. If you could please come forward.
Hi, can you hear me? Jamie Knapp. I live at 6311 Morningside Drive here in Parma.
Thank you.
I'm a parent of the PAGE program, and I wanted to speak about how, our experience has been amazing. It was an easy and intentional decision for our family because it works. My daughter describes it as a place where teachers are great listeners and friends are easy to make. As a parent of a twice exceptional child, one who has a strong cognitive ability along with specific learning or other emotional needs, I know she thrives in a calmer, more flexible environment where her social emotional needs are prioritized. We know that, that was made for her at Page. Now our options are quite limited. Based on our personal experience, a return to our assigned school, which would be Thorough Park, represents an unacceptable regression in my daughter's well-being. Sending my child back to a learning environment where she felt overwhelmed, unsafe, and invisible is a heartbreaking prospect that I'm desperately trying to avoid. The decision to close Page felt like a gut punch. It was so disheartening to hear at the meeting of exciting new opportunities for our high school students when the supports for our elementary students are being stripped away. These elementary students who are in critical stages of brain development. I hear leadership rave about PBIS gold schools, but without transparent data, these feel like empty words. There's a massive disconnect between the PBIS theory and the realities of bathroom vandalism, bullying, and overwhelmed administrators at the building level. When principals and deans are consumed by chronic discipline issues, the quiet high achievers who are struggling internally are left without a voice. Expecting that these Page families and their children were simply returned back to their home school and have the same supports and successes that they've had is absurd. Without the strong social emotional support, they're not going to be fully invested in their school. We as parents made the intentional alternative choice to enroll our children in Page. Returning to a school where they get 1 hour of gifted intervention per week is not a proper education. That's an afterthought. Our children deserve better, and we all deserve better. And here are my questions. With the closure of Page, what specific daily social emotional supports will be in place in the elementary buildings to replace that safe haven environment these children are losing? Since First Step Preschool successfully utilizes a tuition-based model for peer models, has the board explored a similar fee-based or grant-funded structure to fund or expand elementary gifted services? And specifically, what specialized gifted professional development do traditional classroom teachers receive annually, and what about our STEM teachers? Thank you very much.
Thank you, Ms. Knapp. I see that you have 2 of those 3 questions listed here. I did note the 3rd one. We will have someone follow up with you within 72 hours. And if you do not hear back, please reach out to us directly at the board. Thank you. Our 3rd public comment is from Ms. Mitchell.
I'm back again. Okay. Brenda Mitchell, 5004 Torrington Avenue.
Thank you.
Jeannie and myself have sort of become the spoke parents with Paige, just trying to get all the information in one place, trying to keep all of the parents privy to all the information that we're getting. I do want to note that we all made comments and questions at the last board meeting, our husbands alike, and not one of those were answered in 72 hours. So we all did reach out, and we got answers eventually, which I would like to have those answers from the emails read into the record eventually, because I do want it to be part of the record. I'm not going to add those as my comment today. I did get a great idea from the PCPTA president last time, where she did a Google form if people weren't able to come to the meetings, and if they wanted to say anything. I did have 2 parents wanted to make comments about Paige, but they're not here today, although we kind of shut off Miss McTaggart when she was trying to make a comment from somebody else. I don't know if it's different for the public, so if I'm not allowed to, please let me know.
Can you pause the timer really quick, please?
I think there's confusion about, so you were referring to the PCPTA president having a Google form and speaking, but she was not speaking on behalf, she was gathering information. So if you want to provide that information, I think that's perfectly fine.
Yeah.
I don't think that's the same as you're comparing it to her not being able to read something when that person's not specifically present. Does that make sense?
Yep.
Okay.
Yep. Okay. I just don't want to get in trouble for saying a comment from somebody else. Again, we're all new to how the board works and how these meetings work, so I'm not sure what can be said and what can't.
You're not saying their name and who they are, right?
I have permission to from them, but
if you're saying it in an informational way, that's where I'm saying I think that's perfectly okay, as PCPTA did.
Okay, yeah, no, I won't, I don't have to share. And again, we are not privy to how decisions were made or are made, so one of these parents' comments started with, I know the board is facing a difficult decision regarding Paige, which again, we know that.
I'm so sorry. Can I pause you really quick?
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, like, I'm not trying to, like, I want to make sure we're consistent, because I don't know. Because if we had agreed that we couldn't read.
Dr. Early?
Yes.
May I make a suggestion, please?
Yes, please.
And this goes to both you and the speaker, if I may. Would it be possible for you to just summarize what was in those comments without reading word for word? I feel that that avoids the reading a comment that comes
That's
from
what I was
someone
trying to
else.
explain.
And if you could maybe just summarize that in your own words, if you may.
I mean, sure.
Are you comfortable doing that?
That's fine.
And I don't want to cut into your public comment. I'll let you finish your comment summarizing, and then I would like as a board to come back to this, because I do think it's an important point of clarification.
Right.
I would like to say one thing. I think that you should be allowed to say whatever whatever your 3 minutes allow you to say.
That's what I was planning
think
on.
that you should be allowed to say it. And I think that I should have been able to then summarize the statement. But you're more important than what I have to say, in my opinion. So
Okay. Okay, so I know the board is facing a difficult decision regarding Paige. Before this program, my daughter was often disengaged, felt bored, but that all changed when she got accepted into the Paige program. Izzy has made some of her best friends, and she really feels like she found where she belongs. She's curious again, and she's challenged. She comes home excited to talk about what she has learned, and she is proud by her work. By continuing to invest in students who learn different, we are preventing disengagement and preventing loss of education. I hope the board will explore every possible option to preserve the program of Paige because of the impact on our students. While this program may serve a smaller group of students, please don't measure this program only by its line in the budget. Measure it by the students who have loved learning, whose love of learning depends on it. I know I only have like 30 seconds left. The other one is pretty long, so I'll leave it for the next meeting. I just want to say that all of these parents and all of these families, we are still heartbroken. We don't know what's going to come for next year, and we really would love some kind of hope to give to our kids, especially in this time, because honestly, every single one of them is dreading going back to their home school. So, thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Mitchell. That concludes the public comments that we received this evening. We do not have executive session this evening, so it is now 7:55 p.m.
Dr. Early?
Yes.
I believe we skipped over information requested by board members.
Oh, yes, I did not intentionally mean to do that. Are there any information? Thank you, Mr. Reyes. I appreciate that. Is there any information requested by board members before we adjourn?
I do have a few things.
Yes, thank you. Mr. Reyes, I apologize on
That's okay.
my board
No problem.
colleagues.
We're all learning.
No,
We're
thank
only
you. I
human.
appreciate
We're
that.
only human. So I do have a couple things that I would like to get some information on. So the first one is all the costs associated with the PAGE program since its inception of 2023. The next one is, so I actually had this email here that went out to a lot of these PAGE parents. And in this email, it says, the program decision regarding PAGE was directly driven by the cost-saving measures needed in our district. The initial impetus for the review was the pending cuts that were outlined by Dr. Hunt and Mr. Nucio. I would like to know what these pending cuts are, what the plan is, and I would like to see them, please. And then my last request pertains to legal counsel. So I recently requested contact information for legal counsel, and I was denied that information. Checking ORC and our board policy, there's nothing that restricts a member's access to a legal counsel, and according to board policy 0122.1 member powers, in that policy it states, no board member shall be denied facts or materials required for the proper performance of his or her duties, which he is legally entitled to, which he or she is legally entitled to. Previous board meeting, I had questions for legal counsel. I didn't get answers for those questions until right before the meeting, so it really didn't allow me to process those questions or the information that I had about. So I am asking that contact information for all legal counsel be shared with every board member. And that's all I have.
Thank you, Mr. Reyes. Any other information requested by board members?
I'm sorry, Dr. Early.
Yes, Ms. Kerber.
Can I make a clarifying question in regards to, because I believe we have an abundance of legal counsel. Were you requesting contact information for every legal counsel that we voted on at our previous meeting, or just like a specific one, or just the main ones that we generally use? I just wanted to ask this clarification.
So every legal counsel that we approved at the organizational meeting, I believe we all should have access to them. And I've spoken with several current and past board members, and they all have had access to them. I believe that they're a great resource for us, for administration, and we should be able to use them as needed. I know that we spent $750,000 last year on attorney fees, so if we have a 5-minute conversation, I don't think that's going to increase our bill too much. So,
Can there was information shared about how much that costs when we did we all get that information for costs for attorneys? Well, if we reach out to them. I think that's.
I don't know, that would be a question for Mr. Nucio. I think with that specific attorney, he has shared the rate that I put on that paper we all had in our folders, but I don't know if it's different per attorney.
Yes, it is. It's different. Each firm charges different, whatever they want. The $750,000 was an approximation, which I gave at the organizational meeting. It's not the exact number. It's an approximation of the total cost. And each firm does charge whatever their rates are. They notify us and of the rates or rate changes, and if we don't like the rate changes, we just don't use them.
And my second question is, I understand, and I think this is something that needs to be discussed too. So if we all have access to legal, how are we making sure, and Ms. McTaggart's point of always making sure everybody has the same information, how do we ensure that? So if Ms. McTaggart's calling the attorney, Mr. Reyes is calling the attorney, how are we going to ensure that? So I want to make sure that we're all getting that same legal information. So how would we protect that if everybody has access to the attorneys? I'm just asking. It's a legit question.
May I?
Yeah.
So what we've done in the past is that the attorney would share with the board members if there was a question. The attorney would send an email after having a conversation to all board members, ask for no round robins, of course, because then it's a meeting, but answer that question then, or just recapture what was said in that conversation in an email to everyone. Who denied you access to our attorneys?
I prefer not to say.
Okay.
So your answer, you never got an answer? Is that, or you're just saying you just were not allowed to call the attorney yourself?
I got an answer, but it wasn't until I got here and opened up my folder and saw the answers inside. So I didn't have a lot of time to process the
Oh,
information.
we understand that because we get
it's
questions
like,
an hour before
when an
meetings.
attorney
too.
answers something, it's
Yeah.
like, okay, can I
Right.
convert this into plain English? So,
Yeah, get it.
Is there any other information requested by board members? All right. So it is now 8:01. I move to adopt Resolution 2026-01-49 to adjourn this meeting.
Second.
We have a motion and a second to adopt Resolution 2026-01-49. Roll call, please, Mr. Nucio.
Dr. Early,
Yes.
Mrs. Sebastian.
Yes.
Ms. Kerpick,
Yes.
Ms. McTaggart,
Yes.
Mr. Reyes.
yes.
Meeting adjourned. Thank you.